The rockets had worked. The people had gone. And everything they needed, every watt of power, every kilogram of propellant, every component they built with, still came from Earth. Space was an outpost. Earth was the center. That was the problem. In 2065, 8 billion people on Earth were consuming energy at a rate the planet's surface could no longer contain. The fusion plants were running. They were not enough. The demand was climbing faster than any terrestrial source could match. And the answer, the one answer that required no new physics, no new invention, no new discovery, had been waiting in orbit for 4.5 billion years. Unfiltered, continuous, 8 times more intense than anything that reached the surface below. The question was never whether the energy existed. The question was whether humanity would build the infrastructure to reach it. It did. The architecture of the space economy was built on 3 pillars, not in sequence, not by plan, by necessity. The first pillar was power. Space-based solar arrays in geostationary orbit, 36,000 kilometers above the equator, where the sun never sets and nothing blocks the light. Each array converted raw sunlight into a focused microwave beam, directed at receiving stations on the surface below. 2 gigawatts per array. By 2075, 14 arrays were operational. 28 gigawatts, continuous, sent down from orbit like rainfall. The second pillar was propellant. At the lunar South Pole, in craters so deep that sunlight had never reached their floors, water ice had been waiting since the formation of the solar system. It was split into hydrogen and oxygen, the same molecules that powered the first rockets. The difference? It cost $50,000 per kilogram to launch propellant from Earth, $500 per kilogram to produce it on the Moon. The economics did not require debate. They required infrastructure. The third pillar was materials. Asteroid 16 Psyche, a metallic body 222 kilometers in diameter, contained more iron and nickel than all of Earth's known reserves combined. The first prospecting missions had returned samples. The extraction equipment followed. Power from orbit. Propellant from the Moon. Materials from the asteroids. 3 sources, 3 pillars, 1 outcome. By 2075, the space economy no longer depended on Earth for its inputs. It had become self-sustaining. That sentence requires a moment. Not because it was unexpected, because of what it meant. Every civilization in history had been defined by what it needed from the ground beneath it. This one no longer was. By 2100, something else had changed. Not in space, on Earth. Semiconductors produced in microgravity had no crystalline defects, physically impossible to achieve in a gravity well. 10 times more powerful per watt, made in orbit, shipped down. Heavy industry began migrating off the planet. Not because of regulation, not because of policy, because it was cheaper in orbit. The factories were leaving. What remained was agriculture, residence, governance, and the archive. Earth was not abandoned. It was reassigned. The most consequential planet in the solar system had become its garden, its seat of memory, its administrative center, its home. Not a wound, a purpose. The solar system had become infrastructure, not a frontier, not a destination, a system. And every system has an architecture, and every architecture has an owner. What that meant for the humans who built it is recorded in Film 3. This is Film 2 of the Stellar Manifest. Subscribe to the archive. This is the Terra Dossier.